Hello friends, today I am going to be explaining about erosional landform and depositional landform of wind. Wind is an atmospheric component and it's travel on all over the surface area, and because of wind different activities take place on the surface, and in which we are studying geological work of wind. What is geological work of wind? Because of wind different activity take place on the surface, and because of this activity different geological structure develop on the surface. So based on that geological work of wind, wind act as an agent of erosion as a carrier for a transportation of particle and then deposit huge quantity of different places. See, wind act as an agent of erosion. It erode the material and it transported and deposited at different places. And because of erosion and transportation and deposition, different structure are developed on the surface. See geological work of wind. First is erosion, second is transportation, and third one is deposition. Geological work of wind in which erosion, in which develop different structure, deflation, abrasion, adhesion. These three main steps are involved in erosion. In transportation, source of sediment, method of transport, transporting power of wind. All these factors are responsible. And deposition, dune and losses are developed. See, wind erosion. Wind moving with sufficient velocity over dry sand and bare ground covered with dust, it removes huge quantity of the material from the surface, known as depletion. In some desert, depletion may remove the sand from a particular location and create a depression, virtually touching the water table, and such a depression is known as blowout. Water-filled depression, known as oasis, is place where vegetation grow in a desert. See, this is the diagram. What happened in the depletion? Whatever the small particle present in the desert area means sand, it carried by the river. When this area is made up of these by small sand, or if it is carried by the river, what happened? All the part, some part of this sand are get removed, so this part become depressed, and this depression part is generated on the surface. So this is one of the erodative feature, and this is because of this erodative feature called as erodative feature developed because of wind erosion, and this feature is called as depletion. See again, in desert region, the surface area consists small particle of sand. Because of the wind in all the sand particle, whatever the sand particle present in some part of the sand particle carried by the wind. So this part get depressed, and this depression part we call as depletion basin or depletion. See, this is depletion, and if it depletion reach to up to the water table, so water come out on this depletion basin, and the depletion basin become water basin. So this is called as, when it stuck to the water table, then this is called as oasis. If doesn't stuck to the water table, then this depletion basin called as blowouts. Then next is the another one structure is depletion amount. What depletion amount? Some winds carries small particles and large particles. So the small particle remain as it is on your place because of the overlying is large particle is present. So it does not carried by the small particle, large particle remain as it is, and this is called as depletion amount. Then wind abrasion. Wind is powerful agent of rubbing and abrading the rock surface when naturally loaded with sand and dust particle. This type of erosion involving rubbing, grinding, abrading, and polishing of rock surface by natural agent known as abrasion. What is abrasion? Basically, when wind carries some small particle or large particle is stuck to the different material or rock which come across their path, and when these substance carries small particle, and these material or whatever the rock came across, we also consist some particle. Both particle get freaks, or big particles stuck to each other, or they develop grinding or abrasion or develop. So that particle get rub, grind or abrade, and because of this different structures are developed. This process is called as abrasion. The feature of erosion, these are the volume landform are developed by the because of erosion: yardage, pedestal rock, ventified rock, and pinnacle. See, yardage, it is an elongated low-lying ridge forming overhang above depression. Trend is parallel to the prevailing wind. Yardnates are formed in the area where rock of alternate hard and soft rock lie one above one other with gentle slope. See, this is the hard layer, soft layer, hard layer, soft layer. So this soft layer get eroded, so this hard layer remain hanging on the soft layer. So this why the structure is called as yarn. Sometimes what happens here, this is the area. This consists hard layer, soft layer, hard layer, soft layer. So if soft layer, the wind are moving this direction of here is if it is a soft layer present, then they get removed or they get eroded, and this type of structure is remain. See, because of erosion, this structure converted into this like structure. So below portion of the part get eroded and overlying hard rock remain as it. So hard rock hanging on the soft rock. So this type of structure called as yardness. See the diagram. Wind direction of moving this direction and hard rock remain as it is, and soft rock, whatever the soft rock present here get eroded. Only soft rock present is this line, only this portion. So this is hard rock hanging on the small soft rock. So this structure is called as yardness. Then next, pitted rock. The rock obstacle lose their soft part due to sand blasting and retaining a small pit, and hard part remain as the structure look like honeycomb structure known as pitted rock. What happened? This is the hard rock and consists hard material and soft mineral. So because of the wind carry some particle that stuck to this particle, and whatever the soft material is present it get removed and only hard material is remain. So its structure look like a honeycomb structure. Only small spores are generated, whereas the soft rock is remain, only hard rock remain as it is. So this is called as pitted rock structure. Then pedestal rock, it is known as mushroom rock. They are flat top rock masses that are characterized with slender lower region. Top is commonly referred as overhang and support as a pedestal. They are generally few meter in height. See here also similar to Yardley's rock, soft rock get eroded and overlying rock is remain on the soft rock. Only difference is it is known as mushroom rock. They flat top rock masses that are characterized slender lower region. This lower region is very slender and overlying portion is luminous flat. Then this is called as pedestal rock. Then ventipack, small size rock fragment having one or two, three or more polished faces. The polishing of the side of original rough fragment is carried out by prolonged wind abrasion on the surface of each fragment. After one phase is flashed, second phase is made available to the wind action by overturning of the fragment during the gauge of wind. This wind polish and faceted fragment are called as ventipack. What happens? This is the rock, and when is wind carried from wind is moving from this direction, and when this rock fragment came across this wind direction, or either we can call it as when wind struck this particle, that time it also carries some particle. That particle, this particle get to stuck and abrasion activity take place. Because of these, whatever the faces of this rock which came across the wind direction, that get polished surface, that get more polish, and the rough surface become very shiny and soft. This is called as ventipack. See here, this is the rock and this surface is become going to be very sharp because of action of the wind. See, this is ventipack in which this is the structure and which face came across the wind direction, and this face is, see here how much it is a polished surface. So because of wind abrasion activity, whatever the rough surface is removed, surface become polished like a sandpaper we rub on the sandpaper rub on this surface area and it become shiny. Like way this is activity happen. The next is pinnacle. Phenomenon of selectively abrasion leads to the overturning of rock column. Nevertheless, the rock column which erode are known as pinnacle. See, this is the surface area in which what happened. This area, this is get eroded, then some part of this eroded, some part of this eroded, and remain like this structure is formed. This is called as pinnacle. Wind attrition, the sand grain and other particles that are lifted by the wind and carried away do not travel in a straight path. Their path is determined by their density and velocity of the wind. It moves in zigzag path. The wear and tear of load sediment suffered by wind due to mutual impacts during transport is a attrition. Method of transport, suspension. The light and silk grade particle may be lifted high up in upper region of the wind and move along with it is known as transport in suspension. Because the particles once lifted are not allowed to rest on the ground again unless they are finally deposited. Then saltation, the heavier and coarse sediments such as pebble, gravel, sand grains are lifted only for short distance up to 2 meters. This type of sediment transported by wind is a saltation. Transporting power of wind depend upon the velocity of the wind, particle size, shape, and density. If wind have a more density, then it can carry more pebble and cobalt size of the particles, and this is called as saltation. And if the wind velocity is very less, then carry large amount of it carry small size of particles too. In velocity very high also carry both large and small, but large in high amount. Wind deposition. Eolian deposit sediments once picked up by the wind from any source on the surface are carried varying distance depending on the velocity of the wind. Landform and deposit made by accumulation of wind-blown sediment are commonly referred to as eolian deposit. Dune and lawns are the base example. Dunes variously shaped deposit of sand grain particle accumulated by wind. Gentle windward and steep leeward. Sand dune is defined as broadly and conical heap of the sand characterized with two slopes on either side of medial ridge or crest. Sand dunes show great variation in their shape, size, and growing type of dunes. The crescentic dune, sigmoidal dune, transverse dune, so crescent dune. Crescentic dune. It is characterized with two. Crescentic dune is characterized with two slopes in such a way that windward slope is convex, rise gently between 7 to 20 degree, and slip faces start from the crest and is quite deep and concave in outline. See here two faces 7 to 2 degrees Celsius, one is concave in outline and one is convex in outline. Brachial, simple type of crescentic dune, typically half moon shape developed by wind blowing in the same direction for a considerable length of time. Wind deposited in this way, it look like a half moon shape. See there. The next sigmoidal dunes. It is characterized with the absence of horn and curve outline. Sigmoidal dunes is a T steep side ridge that extend in a S-shaped outline. Both sides of the sigmoidal dunes are steeply inclined at angle between 25 degree to 32 degree. Longitudinal dunes are called as sigmoidal dunes also. See, this is sigmoidal dunes. Then losses. It is used for the wind blow deposit of silt and clay grade particle, unconsolidated, uncertified porous size range 0.01 to 0.05 mm in diameter, 40% rare, 60% by silt and finer clay occur in China, North America and Europe. Particles get accumulated due to precipitation. See, small clay and particles get accumulated due to precipitation, and this type of structure develop. This is called as losse, which covers the more land area, and rock is unconsolidated, uncertified and porous material. Thank you.